Hey, what's going on? Common denominator. I'm gonna do another installment right now of the Black American Vortex. If you haven't seen this series, check it out. It's on my channel. I have it made into a playlist. Okay, so you can check that out. Check out the playlist. This version of the Black American Vortex. Look, let me just briefly explain the Black American Vortex for people who are new to this channel. Most Black Americans should know what this is. If you have any type of critical thinking skills, you should know what this is. The Black American Vortex represents the hypocrisy within the black community. Dang it. Ambulance is coming. So the Black American Vortex represents the hypocrisy in the black community, and not just hypocrisy, but a culture that tries to pull everyone towards one set of ideas, one set of values, one set of thought, one set of entertainment, one set of everything. It just tries to dominate people, okay, and have them believing and doing one thing. I don't know if you guys can see me. His sun is beaming. Okay, so that's the Black American Vortex. And usually that one thing represents the status quo. It represents you know, what is your hip hop industry? What is your it represents what is your the people who set the trends within the black community, the people who, just put it this way, it's never really the intelligent people who set the trends nowadays. It's people from the street. It's street culture. And this is the reason why I believe we have the Black American Vortex. This vortex represents a fascist type of system that doesn't allow for freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom in fashion. Like, for instance, right now, if you're a black man and you wear your pants on your waist, where your pants belong, the Black American Vortex would call you corny, okay? Because black men aren't supposed to wear their pants on their waist. That's corny. Come on, what's wrong with you? That's not black. That's acting white. So this is the type of reasoning, this is the type of rationale that you find in the Black American Vortex. Okay, got that out the way. Now, what I'm going to talk about is interracial unions and the products of interracial unions and how this fits into the Black American Vortex. Let me show you this, some of the hood logic and some of the hypocrisy, even amongst the so-called conscious community. Okay. All right. Recently, Tommy Sotomizer, also known as AKA Tommy Sotomayor, got confronted by Tariq Nasheed. So this was a classic coon versus coon battle. Okay, a coonocrit, Tariq Nasheed, a hypocrite coon who went on Michael Moore's show, documentary, acting like a pimp. And the definition of a coon is, you know, black person who entertains white people, and that's what he was doing. He showed up on the show. Okay, cool. Now, Tommy Sotomayor, who is a black white supremacist, who is pretty much, he hides behind fixing the black community, but he's destroying it at the same time. It's just, it's an embarrassing mess. Both of them are just, you know, are a mess. So the reason why I mention that is because Tommy Sotomayor, is Mr. Okay, well, let me not talk about him anymore. Let me talk about Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed, Mr. Black Consciousness, Mr. this and that. It looks like his wife might be biracial. If I'm wrong, correct me. But she's super light-skinned. Another so-called conscious information peddler is what's his name? The rapper. This rapper who ended up marrying a biracial woman too. Okay, just making a complete joke of himself. All right, some LA rapper from LA. I forget his name. I don't listen to his music, so I don't really care for his name. But I know he was getting criticized big time for basically being a coon, or not a coon, but I think his name is Kendrick Lamar. He was being criticized for being a hypocrite. Okay. Now, a lot of these guys are hypocrites. Let me just be honest. Let me tell you what's going on. Black men, including myself, are attracted to white women. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, okay? I'm going to be honest. Black men who date super light-skinned black women or biracial black women, they get to hide under the the whole one drop rule thing. So all they got to do is say, "Oh, she's black," and then he's free to date her. Hence, what happened with Tyrese. Okay, Tyrese. It's a well-known secret with black men. We like white women. I don't think most of us can understand why, but we do. I think it's something some of us actively fight. We actively fight our desire for white women. Some of us act on it and we don't care. But at the same time, a lot of white women love us too. I mean, it's not a one-road street. It's not a single lane highway, okay? You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-way street. It goes both ways, okay? So, now, let me say this. So, if you have a biracial woman who has white features, but she also has black features, it's not that black men don't like black features or all black features. It's just that I believe that some black men prefer some white features over black features. I'm going to be honest. This is going to be straight up honest. Now, that's kind of a loaded statement, and let me back up. Let me hit on a few points. Let me be quick with this too, because I got to get in this gym. Let me talk about DNA real quick. They did the human genome study. Took 14 years, something like 14 years, and within the study, they discovered that Africans were the most diverse group of people, more diverse than the rest of the world combined, which is beautiful, man. I love that, because it just shows you that black Africans are special. You know, God made us to be special, and I really like that. So we have more genetic diversity than the rest of the world combined. Now, that being said, there are some beautiful features in Africa. I wouldn't call these Caucasian features, but to West African blooded people, they may look like Caucasian features. But there are some Caucasians with certain features that are very similar to African people. There are Caucasians with noses that are pretty big. Some are pretty broad. And they're not. At the same time, you've got white people with big lips. I've seen white people with some pretty full lips. Okay, so I know we like to try to stereotype and say that this group is like this and this group is like this, but that's, you know, that's not with the diversity coming out of Africa. There is so much that we have to relearn and rethink when it comes to features. Just look around. Go look at some Africans from different countries. Just go on the Google and Google some people. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, when it comes to these African features, there are Africans with noses that are pretty similar to, if not the same as some white people. Okay, they just come from different countries. If you don't believe me, go to one of my videos that talks about the black man who rediscovered black women. Okay, there's a pure African, probably 100% from Tanzania. She's a model, and she's got a nose. And, you know, because Africans are so diverse, I would probably just call it it's just an African nose. But I'm going to say white people have noses that are similar. Some white people have noses that are very similar, if not the same. Okay, so that I know. I can tell you that for a fact. So, you know, this is the diversity. So there are features in and they're Africans who are pure African who don't have big lips. Some of them have really small lips. Look around. Go look at Africans. It's really interesting. You also see Asians like Filipino and some Chinese who will have features that are very similar to what we would call broad African features. But what I'm trying to say is that these features are not only found in Africa, okay? You look at Aboriginals in Australia who are not African-blooded. These people are anthropologically from, they say from Indonesia, okay? But yet they have those type of features. So anyway, that being said, everybody has a right to their preferences. There are people who don't find dark skin attractive. Totally understand. Can't force you to like dark skin. You like what you like, okay? Okay, that being said, there are black people, especially in the conscious community, who speak out against interracial marriage. Yet, they will happily date and marry the product of that interracial marriage, you know, biracial people. And then you have biracial people who, for some reason, think they're black fully. They've been tricked into thinking they're black. And as a result of this thinking they're black, they themselves will speak out against interracial marriage. And they're the product of those marriages. It's incredible. This is the Black American vortex. This is the hypocrisy, the lack of critical thinking skills, the just foolishness, just buffoonery that you find within the culture that makes up, just make it up as you go. It has no reason to it, no nothing. It doesn't matter how stupid it looks. On one hand, I can say, yeah, I don't believe in interracial marriage, but then you're dating someone who's biracial, Tariq Nasheed. Over the weekend, I got attacked. I was hanging out with a couple of friends from college, a couple of black girls, hanging out with them. Just said, just stopped by to say what's up for about an hour. And one of their friends attacked me for being in an interracial marriage. But I saw some pictures of her. I didn't get into it with her. I didn't even bother, arguing with her. Actually, one of my friends actually defended me because I've dated black women, and I was actually dating her friend, which is black at one point. So it's just ridiculous. But so this friend, it was real funny. Her kid, she has beautiful kids, by the way, beautiful boy, beautiful girl. Her kids, the little girl is super, super light skinned. The little girl could pass for being biracial, okay? Super light skinned. The dad is very light skinned. He's like what you would call a red bone, okay? So here you have a person attacking me, a woman attacking me for for dating or for being married outside my race. Yet she's with a person. She's brown skinned like myself, but she's with a person who's basically, the color of an Asian. He's like the color of an Asian person. Okay, but because this is how this hypocrisy works. But because he's got that one drop or a few drops. Okay, he wasn't biracial, but he's damn near close. He's probably like someone who's like 65% black or something like that. Okay, another 15% and he'd be biracial. Okay, this guy is super light skinned. The kid looks biracial, but I'm being attacked. See, because she's safe. She's within the safe zone. So the opponents of interracial marriage feel fine marrying within the safe zone. They'll marry people who are super light skinned because they're quote unquote black. They follow the one drop rule. But and then you have these kids who are super light skinned, and this and that. Now let me tell you something. I got a couple of friends who are married to Asian women, and their kids, they're black men, and their kids are darker than this woman's kid, who was, who's a result of, her light skinned kid. Her light skinned kid was actually lighter than these biracial kids. I mean, go figure, man. But so yeah. So if you're so gung ho about light skin or interracial or this or that, don't marry anybody who's light skinned then. Because you know what I'm saying. Anyway, tell me your thoughts on this. I gotta hit these weights real quick. I'm out. Peace.